This is John, host of Mgtow is Freedom. Welcome to the channel, gentlemen. If you're new here, please click the subscribe button. And if you like the content in any videos, please hit the share button, send them to your male friends, send them to men, so that they can hear another opinion, and maybe they'll like it. Maybe they'll start to see that they need to go their own way. So I've talked about unicorns in several videos in reference to women that I think are good women, as opposed to feminist, Nazi, penis-hating bitches and cunts. Okay, I need to be very frank. I see a distinction. Now, as a man going my own way and doing my own videos, I feel I can talk and say whatever I want. You guys, as Mgtow, can choose to accept it, completely reject it, take what you want from it, like it's a fucking salad bar, right? Take what you want, leave the rest. But I've talked about unicorns, and I've had a lot of people interested because in a couple of videos ago I said, hey, I'm going to talk about how to train your unicorn, right? How to deal with them. And so first I want to start out by defining good women. I don't really think they're even traditional women, because there's been traditional bitches all along the way. We're talking about a woman that is really, really good for you. You know, that she would actually have your best interest at heart. And I say they're fucking rare. This is where we get into a problem. A lot of guys, a lot of Mgtow, we get to be older. And we go, you know, every woman I meet is a complete and total bitch. But I know there are good women out there. But they were found when they were young, and they were married or swept away or thrown in a pit, right? And they rub the lotion on the skin. They don't see the light of day. And when they do see the light of day, you think they're going to run up to you and every man they know and say, hey, I'm not a complete and total cunt. I want you to chase me around. They don't say a fucking word to you, because they shouldn't. Because a real woman is going to be quiet. She's going to keep her opinion to herself. She's not going to be a brass, loudmouth, feminist bitch. So how can you say you don't know them? And I want to cover a little bit of the logical fallacy argument. The absence of proof that something exists does not form the proof or evidence so that you can conclude it does not exist. Meaning, just because you've never seen a blue whale with your own eyes doesn't mean they don't exist. Other people have seen them. You know, your belief system doesn't dictate whether or not something else is real. The very fact that it does exist makes something real. Now, I say unicorns exist, but they're extremely rare. They're extremely hard to find. And when you get older, forget it. Needle in a fucking haystack. You got 10,000 pieces of hay to dig through to find one unicorn. It's a tough uphill battle. I don't think I'm ever going to find one that's not taken. But I do know one. And I'm suspicious about others, but they typically don't talk. Unicorns apparently prefer not to speak their true mind. They keep it to themselves, as a good woman should. She serves her man, and he serves her. So let's get on with the program, shall we? And since we're talking about good woman being the equivalent of unicorn, that's going to be our analogy. So for analogy's sake, let's follow the line of thinking. A unicorn is supposed to be extremely beautiful, extremely rare. But a unicorn is also very much an animal, meaning it has a base nature and a base behavior system. And like any other animal, if they are not trained, if they are not taught what is right, you're going to have a runaway animal. Would you, for example, buy a dog? Would you, for example, buy a dog and not train it? So if the dog shit in the house, how could you be mad at it? If the dog pissed all over the place, how could you be mad at it? If the dog got hungry and just tore through your refrigerator, how could you be mad at it? You must train the dog, right? So must you train a unicorn. A unicorn is very much like a horse, except it's more beautiful and has a horn, right? So horses need training. Everything needs training. Now, what is unmistakably stupid on the part of men is that we believe that women come pre-trained. They don't. These fucking bitches come and they're completely out of control. Unicorn, if you're to find one, is going to be completely out of control. It's still a unicorn, you just haven't tamed it. How do you tame your unicorn? Hey guys, 1 second. So, you know, training the unicorn, how do you train it? You got to train horses, right? You have to train the unicorn. The difference between a unicorn and a bitch dog, right, is that you can train a unicorn. The bitch is going to get out of hand. She's already off the fucking hook. You can, you know, try straightening her out, but you can't turn a whore into a housewife. The unicorn, on the other hand, runs a little while, but they're supposed to be trainable. Do not think, Mgtow men, gentlemen, men anywhere, beta males, alpha males, that you can get a woman and she's instantly going to know how to behave, what you like, etc. You have to fucking train them. Now, like any other animal, the unicorn, like a horse, is big, right? They've got a brain of their own. I've been around horses, had them for decades. They will run you the fuck over. They get scared easy and act stupid, right? They're not always the brightest animals, but they got good hearts. So the unicorn, right? If you do not get that unicorn to respect you like a man, she will run over you and run away from you. The most dangerous animal on the North American continent. Anybody know what it is? It is the deer. The wild deer, you know, Bambi. Fucking deer. They kill more people than rattlesnakes, bears, everything on the North American continent. Most dangerous animal out there. Why? Because people go out and feed them, and when the deer doesn't get its food, when it doesn't get its way, it will gore people. What does the unicorn have? A fucking horn on its head. If you do not treat it right and train it right, it can run over the fucking top of you, it can run away fast, or it can fucking gore you right in the heart. It's still an animal. And I think maybe this is the point that a lot of Mgtow make. They don't care, they don't believe in unicorns, and that's okay. Because they know that they can still rip your fucking heart out, especially if you don't know how to handle it. Ever see somebody handle an animal that doesn't know how to do it? They fucking get out of control. They don't know how to train the dog shits all over the place. You've got to look at it the same way. 1 second. You've got to look at them the same way. If you as Mgtow believe men are superior intellectually, physically, emotionally, you're stronger, you're better. If you believe that, then you've got to understand that the female of the species, even with a good heart, needs a lot of help. Constant help. Something else about training your unicorn. You have got to nurture that animal. You can't tell it something once. You have to train it again and again and again. You have to find out what it likes. Does it like horse chow? Does it like unicorn chow? Right? What does it need to live? What does it need physically? What does it need emotionally? You can't treat them literally like a fucking dog and leave them at home, and when you get home, right, they just instantly love you. You've got to put the time and effort into them. And I know, I know, because I put time and love into a fucking bitch of a dog for over 2 decades. You can't make a whore into a housewife. But a unicorn has the potential, and if properly trained, they can get there. And I mean literal fucking training. You have to find out how they think. So now I'm going to talk about this test. It's called a Myers-Briggs test. It's based off of Carl Jung's thinking, his philosophy and his psychology. And it breaks the human psyche into 4 parts. And it's equal for men and women, by the way. 4 parts. And you get 16 personalities, and they break them into 4 divisions. I've tried all kinds of psychology techniques to understand people and women, and this is the one that works the best, in my opinion. But there's a intellectual group called the Rationals. There's another group called the Guardians, and it's full of bitches. 50% of all women come out of this group. Then you've got diplomats and artists. The Rationals, in my opinion, are the best. They make up 5% of the overall total population of humans. Rational thinking human beings. This is where I get 95% are completely fucked, and 5% you got a chance with. But it teaches you, make your woman take the fucking test. Myers-Briggs personality test. You can do them for free. Find out what their personality type is. Don't tell them what you're fucking doing. Have them take the test. Tell you what the personality type is. Go read about that personality type. It'll tell you how they deal with things emotionally, logically. It'll tell you how they think about things spiritual, how they work in relationships, how they are professionally, how they solve problems. And you'll know right the fuck away how compatible you're going to be with this person. Because it'll also show you compatibilities. Myers-Briggs personality test. Train your motherfucking unicorn if you think you got one.